Oh, I didn't see you there. Hey, so you're probably here today to figure out what the difference between habits and skills are. Yeah, I know, that sounds kind of weird. But in reality, habits and skills are completely separate things, yet they lend a hand to each other and create this synergistic relationship, which is so awesome. So let's dive into it in this video. I wanted to start with a bit of a primer on what habits are, and then jump into what skills are, and then how they relate to each other, and then how you can use it for higher leverage skills altogether. So habits are subconscious behaviors or a set of patterns that we exhibit based on repetition and strengthening neural pathways in the brain. So when you think about a habit, don't think about being able to play basketball well or something like skill-based activity, but instead, with habits, think about tying your shoes, putting on your socks. Yes, those are habits. Those are these weird, small, ingrained behaviors that we have that we often fail to realize are actually implanted into our brain. See, I want you right now to think about which sock you put on first this morning and which shoe you tied first this morning. Yeah, it's always the same. So the weird part is 70 to 80% of our day, everything set up is habits. The way that we put our clothes on, how we shower, our routines in the morning. Now, routines and habits aren't directly tied, but of course, to make it easy, we like to tie routines and habits together. So that's what a habit is. It's some type of subconscious neural firing pattern that is trained through repetition. A skill, on the other hand, is a bit different. A skill is something that you can call upon consciously and which has been trained into you or acquired through experience over and over again, but intentional experience, versus you didn't intend to put on the same sock over and over and over again day after day, but what happened was you did it the first time and you kept doing it and it kept strengthening those pathways, and then, oh, look at this, now your habit is to put the sock on the right foot at the first thing in the morning. So maybe not first thing in the morning, you don't jump out of bed and put your socks on, at least that'd be weird. With skills, you're intentionally training this thing. You're pulling up into your conscious periphery what is going to happen. So with a skill, you can think of someone playing basketball. You can think of the ability to paint very well, or rap, or articulate sentences well, or be a poet, something like that. Those are skills. Those aren't habits. You don't just, oh my God, I'm sorry, I lapsed into a poem last week. Or no, I gotta do a 40-yard run just to make sure my speed's up to date. Like, you don't do that while you're going out with friends. On the other hand, you do keep these subconscious habits which you don't realize, like maybe there's like a bit of a tilt when you go up curves or something like that. Those are small habits, or like micro habits that you don't really notice, and it's hard to change at the beginning, but you get the point. Now, when we're comparing skills and habits, we need to figure out what the difference is if we're going to use them properly. Now that we just went through the two definitions of skills and habits, we probably understand them a bit more. So habits are these pre-programmed subconscious patterns that happen throughout the day. Well, skills are going to be these intentional, like you can call upon and activate different activities that were trained into you or experienced over and over intentionally to create that element. So habits are subconscious, skills are called upon consciously. You don't just lapse into playing a pickup game of basketball. And so there is already a separator between skills and habits. Habits, subconscious, skills, conscious. And that's an easy way to start to think about it, but it gets a little bit trickier because a skill has habits in it, but a habit isn't a skill, if you understand what I'm saying. Now, the ability to create and implement habits is 100% a skill, and that's a little bit of the reason that I wanted to film this today. When we're thinking of skills, it's made up of all these little micro habits that we continue to do, right? If you're a football player, when you throw the ball, you have all these habits that allow you to throw the perfect spiral or not, or you don't throw the spiral. But either way, what's happening is you have these entrained habits over and over again, which allow you to do it without thinking about it. It's a subconscious element. On the other hand, if you're going to do a skill like play football and throw the ball, you're consciously throwing the ball. It's not throwing out of your hand before you even realize what's going on. Of course, you can train habits like that, which a habit, let's say for someone in the army, is if they see a gun about to be drawn, they pull out theirs in order to protect themselves. That is a habit, but the act of actual marksmanship is the skill behind that. So on the other hand, when we're comparing the two, skills can make up habits. And I know it's kind of like a weird loop, but when you think about it, skills, like going to learn football, created all those micro habits that are allowing you to throw the football properly because you were intentionally learning that skill. So habits do take intention to typically work in, especially if it's something like playing football or something that you normally wouldn't just do as a human. But what happens is, as we continue to do these habits, it becomes harder to make sure that skill is better and better. And that's why always focusing on quality instead of quantity is so damn important, because the more that you focus on these skills and you focus on making sure they're quality, the better the micro habits are going to be throughout your day, and the better that everything will be throughout your day. So now, how can you use this for you, and how can you use this with high leverage skills? That's probably the question that you have right now, and I wanted to break that down real quick. When you're thinking about habits and you're thinking about skills, you have to realize that habits are going to take a lot longer to change because they're pre-programmed neural patterns that are continually firing in your brain, whereas a skill, on the other hand, like cartography, is conscious and it allows you to do it. Now, it's a lot harder to get better at a skill because you have to get better at these pre-programmed habits, but ultimately, you want to train the overall skill, and you want to train a skill for quality in order to make sure that the habits behind it don't have to be changed at a later date. That's really how I would say to use it, is always focus on the quality element. When you're investing in yourself and you're learning a new skill and you're putting that self-equity into the bank, make sure that you are always focusing on the quality learning of that skill. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go back and learn it again, or you're gonna realize that you weren't that conscious when you read that last 15 pages of that book on coding, and what ends up happening is you got to go back and do it again. So avoid the redundant work and make sure that you can actually learn these skills in a quality way, because these high leverage skills are going to give you a high quality life. So that's it for today. I wanted to thank you for watching this video. If you are looking for a little bit more of the written element, make sure to click the blog. It's up here. And if not, you want to see just a picture of skills versus habits, go to the Instagram. Otherwise, please leave a comment of your favorite skill, your favorite habit, what you think the difference is, because I'd love to have this open dialogue with you. And always question everything.